Well, hey folks, it's exactly a week away from me getting ready to head up to Boston for the Disc Golf Expo. And I'm trying to prep my bag for what I'm going to take. And we're going to talk about some of the decisions, and maybe that might help you right after the intro. Well, hey folks, thank you so much for coming along with me. My name is Pete Collins, and next week we're going to be having the third annual Disc Golf Expo up in Boston. And the good news is I was able to go up there last year, so I have a little idea of what to expect, so that can help give me some ideas of what to prepare for. And what I'm talking about is what kind of disc to take, because this is going to be a week of disc golf emphasis. And I'm going to try to get out and play Maple Hill, play Meadowbrook, and maybe even Pyramids while I'm out there. So I want to play some disc golf, but I also have some ideas of things that I don't want to do. And if you saw my videos last year, I was able to get out there and play a couple rounds, and I played with Robbie C. and Benny Kinney out there. We had a great time, but there was snow on the ground, and I almost lost my most favorite disc, my Vector, out there. And so this year, I'm going to be a little bit smarter. And the first thing I'm going to do is not take any precious discs with me. You know, when I went out to Germany, I left my tennis ball Relativity out there that I love. And you just don't want to have that extra pressure of, oh no, I might lose that one here. It's one thing, even if I lost a disc on my local course, the chances of getting it back are pretty high, fairly high. Okay, the current state of disc golf returning, probably lower, but at least there's still a chance here. But so the first thing I want to do is not take any of my precious discs that I just love with me. For tournaments, I always take my best disc, but when I'm traveling, do I want to have the best disc? Yes, granted, I can lean on those and I could probably play better, but if it's a traveling trip where it's not a tournament, I probably want to have some backups. If nothing else, have a couple that I can go to when things might get a little dicey. But there's another factor going on here when I'm going to Boston, is it's going to be freezing. I think on Thursday, the day I'm going to try to play the most, it's going to get to maybe 32 as the high. And I don't know how much snow they've had before, but last year we ran into snow. Now, it didn't snow most of the time we were there. It snowed when we were leaving, but snow is a factor, especially if there's snow on the ground. So I throw a lot of yellow, blue, and white discs because they help me see, because I'm colorblind. Well, white discs on snow is not a good idea. So one of the first things I need to do is try to get rid of as many white or light discs, white discs that can disappear in snow as I can. So now we're back to blue and yellow for the most part, and that's where I want to stay. But then there's another factor, and what's so funny is Robbie C. just did a video on Tuesday talking about plastic types for different weather. And I throw mostly Champion and Star Plastic here down south, and grip is not really an issue until it starts to rain. But so most of my discs are premium plastic, but when you start to get in the cold, things start to get slippery. And I noticed that last year when I was up there. I need some more grippy discs that I'm gonna throw up there. So now I'm looking for more base plastic or grippy plastic in yellow, blue, or this is about as dark as I can get. Something that's going to give me a little more grip and a little more control in those environments. And the other side of it is I want to take discs that I can count on, but I don't mind losing, or at the end, heck, I know I'm going to be at the expo. I'm probably going to buy some extra discs. I don't mind giving these away, or it's not going to kill me if this one disappears after the expo. And so that's kind of some of my planning. But in order to do that, to still have a good time out there, I don't just grab discs and don't try them out. I think poor preparation leads to all kinds of stuff. So a week before, I'm grabbing and I'm building my bag. And what I'm basically doing is trying to replace the discs I normally have with ones that fly about the same, that I can lean on, that I don't mind losing. So what this means is I want to have my bread and butter discs in something that I can trust, but also it's not going to be the end of the world. First of all, I'm going to be able to find it, I'm going to be able to grip it, but then if it goes away, I'm not going to be heartbroken. And so I'm looking at all the slots. Now currently I need, all my bergs are white, so I'm getting I got to get some darker, hopefully some yellow bergs, at least one to take when I go to putt, because I need to see that. I don't want to lose any of my white discs in the snow. And so that's one I'm still waiting on. Then I have my approach disc, I have my Toro and some other stuff that I'm working on, and I'm working my way through the different numbers. And so I just was out here at the field with looking at my mid-ranges, and I'm trying to find that nice straight flyer, and these three were kind of in contention. And I just picked up a J, really grippy, and then I have a Mako 3 that I got out of the used bin. Actually, it's a stamp I designed, so kind of like that one. And then a used bin Discraft ESP Buzz. So anyway, these all met the criteria of they had the right grip to them. Now, I will say, if I were to put these on a grippy scale gradient, this is the least grippy to the most grippy. And so then I wanted to bring these out. All these were contenders for going in my straight middle of the road. I can lean on these discs. And I got out here and threw them back and forth in the field. And what I found is, this is a little more slick, but it's also got a little bit more flip to it. Not much. These are all very similar, but I really like the flight of these two right here. And I felt like the grippiness and just the flight of it, the J ended up winning of these three. Now, I may end up bagging both of these, bring both of these, so I have, if I lose one, I have another, because I like to lean on my mid-ranges a lot, and so that's probably what's going to happen. As much as like this, the good news is I know how it flies, and I kind of got it as an asterisk that I set it on the shelf, that if I need a disc, I can go out and grab this one. Not when I'm gone, but when I get back home. So all right, I've got this. This is the winner, and this is second in the mid-range. And so that's what I'm doing, is I'm coming out here and I'm working through the different discs. I'm thinking about, fortunately, I've played both Meadowbrook and MVP, Maple Hills, and I know the course, so I can sit back and go, okay, what did I need here, kind of piece out what I need. If you don't have a chance to experience the course before, or you can't watch it on video or whatever, think about getting the bread and butters. So I know I want 1s, 3s approaches, 5s, some 7s, 9s, 11s, and then maybe push it a little bit farther. But I want to have something that I can rely on in those areas there. Basically, the standard layout. I'm not going to get too fancy with extra discs because I've got limited space, and I'm hoping at the end of everything, I'm going to get some new discs, so maybe some of those I can just trade off. But so then I start working, with the 5s, the mid-ranges, and then I move up to the 7s, and they all got to fit a criteria. So I'm going to sit here now, and I've got a nice straight T-bird that I just did a video on. It's just a real reliable one, and it's a good color for out in the snow, so it's going to make it up there. It's not that great for here for me, but it'll be great up there, hopefully. So then I've got, I've got my Flippy Valkyrie. I want to figure out my Valkyrie slot. Now, I know these are 9s, not 7s, but I've got the Valkyrie Roadrunner. Which one of these? I really just want one of these that I can trust. I know I can trust this, but do I want to lose it? Hopefully one of these will fly a lot like this, and I can keep one of these. This guy's probably not going to make it, but sometimes you just need to see how one flies. Since I'm out here, might as well throw it. And then we're going to move Thunderbirds. Which one of these? I use this one a lot, so probably going to want, hopefully one of these can take its spot. And then I've already done a test of the Firebird and the Fireball. Either one of these can go. This one's going to be brighter. I'm probably going to use this one right here. But the one that I know I'm going to have to test the most, because at Maple Hill, you've got hole 1, you've got hole 8, you've got hole 14. You're throwing long shots over water. So I know I'm probably not going to throw perfectly every time, and B, I'm probably going to take a couple shots with that. And so this is really where this comes down to. These are all my potential long distance drivers and backups. I want to see how many of these I like that I can fit slots in, that I can take, so that I'm planning to throw a few of these over the water and into water. And so that's really kind of where this is all going. I can pretty much piecemeal everything else out, but I want to have a good stable of discs. When you get on hole 1 and you just want to rip a couple extra, I need to have a couple extra that I can sacrifice to the course. And so that's some of my planning. I want to have some fun, and I don't want to be so worried about, I don't have enough discs. And so that's some of where this comes in. So it's not rocket science. This is just a quick blurb, but if you have a chance to prepare and plan for your game, where you're going, you hopefully can find yourself out on the course having a good time and not being so worried about the discs. Does that make sense? But I'm literally going to take these out here and figure out the personalities of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 9 of these, going from 11 speed to some Ballista Pros, so up to 13 speeds. And I'm just going to figure out which ones talk to me. How grippy are they? That Ballista feels pretty good, but it's got a little sheen to it. So, that's what I'm trying to think for in bad conditions. How are these going to perform? So there you go. Like I said, this is just me talking to the camera, helping share some of my thoughts and ideas. And it's my lunch break. I'm now going to get up in the sunshine and throw some discs. And I may just put the camera on and let you watch it, but this is where all the information is. You don't need to watch that stuff. It's boring. I'm not going to tell you, well, I will tell you what disc I'm throwing, but I'm not going to put numbers or anything like that because this is just a quick down and dirty, give you some ideas. Let me know your thoughts. Holler at me in the comments, and I do appreciate you coming around, and I hope to see you out on the course. Okay, so this football field, from here to those back fence over there is 540 feet. So I got to watch out that I don't throw it too far because, you know, it happens. I am not going to be killing myself going for distance records out here. I am going to just try to figure out the flights of these discs. One thing I'm trying to figure out, I really do like the Mojo riser. When we had the snow, when you have bad weather, the Mojo riser is great. And hey, it holds your coat great when you want to practice. But I just don't think I can spare the space to take it. But if you're up north, do you like the Mojo riser? I do. When you got to do practice or you've got muddy area or whatever, it really is a bag saver, because the other guys are like, oh man, my bag's all wet from the snow. And I was like, Mojo riser. Who am I kidding? I didn't carry that big bag. I just had a little, oh, I've got a new thing I'm going to show you in a video or so that I really like, but that's just a teaser. All right, I'm going to shut up and throw. Well, I'm going to throw. Rarely do I shut up. All right, you know I'm serious, taking my shirt out of my pants. All right, I threw a few of the mid-ranges just to warm up, but I've sat around for a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw these T-birds, and I am not throwing full power. For one thing, I throw way too many discs. Got to watch my pitch count, especially because it's lunchtime and I'm old. But I'm just going to see how these do. I know this guy, so I'm going to use it as a benchmark and see if I can get one of these two guys to be as good as this. Throwing it nice and flat and let it hook up. Got about a 5-mile-an-hour headwind, and that disc I've used a lot, so it's not as stable as it once was, but that's a nice little flight. Now, one of these I'm hoping may be a little bit more stable because I want a little bit more fight at the end. Isn't it funny how you'll play with the disc and you'll forget to check it, and you'll just keep playing with it, and sometimes it changes its flight and you're like, oh, I'm missing that, I'm missing that. Getting out in the field, just testing your discs every once in a while can be very handy for you to go, oh, that's right, I need to change up to a new one. Well, or you could just burn it straight into the ground. I actually started thinking there's a little divot that in my head I needed to miss that divot, and that's what happened. All right, I gotta move this over. My footing was not the best on that. There's a slight downslope, but this is the best place to be. And one of the things, I don't want to keep throwing in one spot so I don't tear up the grass. So. All right, so let's try the Flippy Valkyrie and see what we've got. Maybe one of these can go instead. The good news is I have two of these. I have this one in the Minion, so I could lose one and not be dead. Flip up and ride. See how flippy that puppy is? All right. Now we've got a 172 Valkyrie. Pretty similar. It might even be a little bit more flippy. All right, Roadrunner. That one's got a little more fight into it. I don't know if yeah, there's a good headwind. That one fought a little bit more, and I think this is going to be the same. I think this is going to be almost more of a Valkyrie than a Roadrunner with that halo plastic. Probably not going to make it. Yeah. Boy, that's nice though. That's nice. Yeah. All right. Firebird versus Fireball. Now, these are ones that I've had in my house that I could use based on grippiness and whether I can live with losing these when I'm out here. So these are the two that I have. And I think this one's going to push a little more. It's a little beat, and so it's not as stable. It's nice and predictable. And my miss, I tend to overcompensate, and they tend to fall off too hard. I get nose up and stuff like that, so a little bit pushing is not bad. I think this one's a little more stable. Huh. Yeah, a lot more stable. Interesting, interesting. All right, now it's time for the longer drivers. And this Wraith I picked up the other day, I found the other day, it's been in my stack. This is a pretty straight flyer. So I'm liking this. This is already pretty much in the bag that I'm gonna take with me. Just a little pop up and ride. That's nice. I'm not sure about this guy. It is a flippy Blizzard Wraith that just, yeah, I think it might be a little too flippy for this though. It's pretty nice, but I think the winds were big at Maple Hill, so I don't need that much flippy. I'm gonna need more stable than flippy out there, unfortunately. The Mystere, I have never even thrown this guy. I got it at the used bin. So let's see. It's a good ride. Now the problem with these is that's good. Nice straight, little understable. I need a little more stability for out there. So let's try a Boss. Oh, no, that's a Shrike. Okay, let's see how the Shrike does. Huh. Kind of tugged that one over. Let's see how it fights. Yeah. I think this is the Boss. Yeah, this is the Boss. What I'm realizing, and that's why I had the, I think I'm gonna take this one just because I need something that's going to really fight the wind, and I can use it in a utility disc. I may end up losing it, but watch how much more stable this guy is. Especially if you put it on this line right here. We've got about a 10-mile-an-hour headwind. It's increased a little bit, so they're wanting to flip up, and that thing didn't even blink. All right, let's try this Boss right here. I was in flip hyzer mode. Good news, that one's stable too. That one's probably gonna go because I can see it. The Halo Shrike is a little more stable than the regular Shrike. This may be a nice one too. Like I said, I'm probably gonna take 4 or 5 of these so I can chunk a few and not be sad if I lose them. Little pop up and then just kick on over. I'm not putting full booty in these, and some of them aren't the cleanest, but I'm getting a good read on what they're doing even from my throws. I can tell by how I throw it and how they react, how they are, even if it's not the best throw. Because I've only thrown about 1 million discs in my lifetime. Huh. Nice and flat and penetrated. I really wanted a little more fight out, but that's okay. It's good to know. All right, here's the Ballista Pro. Even though it's the retro plastic or whatever, it's just got a little sheen to it. It's better than Champion, but it's still, I don't know. What's funny, certain discs just come out better. That was nice. And this is another Ballista Pro. Yeah, in the gold plastic. And I was trying to do a rocket, and it's a rocket, but I don't like that design, so I'm fine losing this one. Burn that one over too. But good fight out, it's trying. All right, let me go get these. All right, so a quick wrap up. I've spent about an hour, close to an hour and a half out here working on finding different stuff. I think I'm definitely gonna take 2 mid-ranges. So I've got the Mako 3 and the J. Then I'm going with the Creature, even though it's a remix MVP plastic, it's got a decent amount of grip to it, and I need a flip hyzer through the trees. Definitely want that one. And then I'm using a Pyro, not my favorite, but I can afford to lose this one. I want something a little overstable. I could probably go with a deflector, but I think this is gonna be fine for that. Not my first choice as far as a little bit slick, but I can get away with it. I'm only gonna use it a few times maybe, so. But then, good old reliable T-Bird, Flippy Valkyrie. Yeah, I just pop it through the trees. Sometimes you're gonna have to do that. And then I definitely like the Honor. Is taking the first place in the Thunderbird, but I've got this as a backup. You know, those may be workhorses out there, so it's good to have a backup of that, because between the mid-range and the Thunderbirds, I could work a lot of stuff. And then I went with the overstable Firebird, because I've got, you know, these are pretty stable. I can lean on more overstable with the Fireball than I could with the Firebird, because it's getting a little beat and a little straight. Now, have a little tough time fighting this one, but so be it. And then I'm taking 6 long distance drivers, and when I'm worried, I'll go with some of these I can lose, but I'm sticking with my my Wraith, little flippy straight Wraith. Then I've got like 4 Shrikes, 1 Ballista Pro, and a Boss. And this Boss is nice and beefy, and the Shrike is pretty beefy for a Shrike. So these are gonna be, I think these are gonna be the ones I lean on a lot, and then these will be extras that I can throw away. So there you go. Now I've still got to work on my approach discs. I've got a couple that I'm going to choose out of there, and my putters. Let's face it, at the end of the day, if I lose everything and I still have 1 putter, I can have a fun time out there. So it's not the end of the world. But there you go. That's my quick wrap up for this. Thank you so much for sticking around. Listen, I'm just bringing you along in my thought process, trying to figure this all out myself. We're all on this journey together, and I appreciate you coming along with me. And I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.